All right, hello everybody. How we doing? Welcome to another week of book club. Can you guys all hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. What's up, Piggy? How you doing? Oh, thanks, Y-Tram. Yeah, just hit 70K. It's pretty wild. Fun Sum, Miss Ruby Malfoy, Eva, Sammy, Swara, Fatima, Paris Jackson, wonderful Shivani Perek. Sorry if I totally butchered that, but Marina, Chloe, Lena's Vlogs and Adventures, Serenely. How we doing, everyone? SY, you have a question. What's your question? Eva, I'm doing really well. Very excited about this book club. Excited to be starting Prisoner of Azkaban because for a lot of people, Prisoner of Azkaban's their favorite book or movie. I feel like Philosopher's Stone and Chamber of Secrets are those are the shorter Harry Potter books, more for kids than the rest are. And Prisoner of Azkaban onwards is like when you get into the meat and potatoes of the story. So I'm very excited about that. Oh, Fun Sum, what's your favorite book? There we go. All right, so I thought I'd start off this book club with opening to a random page of Prisoner of Azkaban and reading a random scene and seeing if you guys can guess it. So, Arthur, the truth would terrify him, said Mrs. Weasley shrilly. Do you really want to send Harry back to school with that hanging over him? For heaven's sake, he's happy not knowing. Can anyone guess what scene that is from Prisoner of Azkaban? It's in the reading that we did for this. It's in the first 10 chapters. Oh, I should go to page 390. I don't even know if there are 394 pages in Prisoner of Azkaban. Miss Traveler, the one where they're at the motel. Is the Leaky Cauldron a motel? Leaky Cauldron, yeah, Jake. The fight between Molly and Arthur, yep, in the hotel. Molly and Arthur talking to Harry about Sirius, yeah, Hellhound, correct. I want to see what is on page 394. Wait, I don't think there are 394 pages in Prisoner of Azkaban. 373. Oh, there is. Let's see what's on page 394. This would actually be a good video idea. Okay, here's what's on page 394 in Prisoner of Azkaban. Oh, it's the time turner scene. 3 turns? What's he talking about? What are we supposed to do? But Hermione was fumbling with the neck of her robes, pulling from beneath them a very long, fine gold chain. Harry, come here, she said urgently. Quick. So page 394, which is the famous Snape scene in the movie. I guess it's the time turner scene, which is cool. Paris, yeah, what's your question? Yeah, Eva, Molly, and Arthur. Remember, toss a like on the stream if you guys are enjoying it. Really helps me out. Now, how do I... What's my favorite book? Order of the Phoenix, because it's the longest. Look at page 268. Page 298. What character do you like the best in Harry Potter? Sirius Black, which this is Sirius's big book right here. You think he's the big villain, then... Eric, how you doing? Any Hogwarts Express? So the Hogwarts Express, that's what we look for right here. We're waiting for the Hogwarts Express to come, see if it hits us or not. I haven't seen it yet. I still haven't seen the Hogwarts Express. I'm waiting for it to come. All right, so God, I can't put a comment. Why can't I comment on this right now? This is unbelievable stuff. Okay, here we go. Now I can comment. There it is. And just... All right, so let's dig into what I was noticing. So my first question for everyone, just write it down in the chat. What would your Boggart be? Because the Boggart class takes place in these chapters. So what would your Boggart be? And Eric, you said it feels like the Office episode when they're waiting for the logo to hit the corner of the TV. Yeah, that's true. I love The Office. That's a great scene. Oh, good luck, Miss Ruby Malfoy, in your SATs. Yeah. Oh, a dolphin would be your Boggart. I guess dolphins are scary. Reptiles, Umbridge, yeah, Umbridge. Just like it turns into Snape for Neville. Spiders, being alone in the dark, that is scary. Ghosts or heights. Jess would be, death or spiders. S.Y. Umbridge. Your mom and your dad, Miss Traveler. A clown, yeah. Nika, mine would probably be a clown too. Hermione. Chloe, you're scared of Hermione? Do I like Malfoy? Not really. Not particularly. I'm not a huge fan of Malfoy. Okay, so the first thing that I noticed was in one of the earliest chapters when Harry pulls out his History of Magic book, which is the only history book that any Hogwarts students use throughout the series. It was written by Bathilda Bagshot in 1947, and it covers wizarding history up until 1899. So it stops at 1900. And I was just thinking to myself, there's a huge period between 1900 and 1991 that Hogwarts students aren't learning anything about. That's when it's like all about Grindelwald's rise to power, all the history behind that, and then also Voldemort in the Second Wizarding War. And so I just think that's a huge gap in the Hogwarts students' education, is not learning about anything that Grindelwald did in the most recent history. There's nothing about, Harry has no idea who he is. Oh, there's the Hogwarts Express! There's the Hogwarts Express! There's the Hogwarts Express! We got it! We got it! We got the Hogwarts Express! There we go! There we go! Oh my god, we got it! Toss a like on for the Hogwarts Express. There we go. Hell yeah. Who do I think is stronger, Grindelwald or Voldemort? I'd say Voldemort, because Grindelwald, a lot of his strength came from the fact that he was using the Elder Wand, but Voldemort was pretty much beating Dumbledore in a duel when Dumbledore had the Elder Wand. Just like Dumbledore beat Grindelwald. Grindelwald lost with the Elder Wand, and Voldemort was beating Dumbledore in that duel in Order of the Phoenix without the Elder Wand. So I'd say Voldemort for sure. Eric, did you see that? Yeah, it didn't kill my character. You saw the Hogwarts Express. There we go. Autumn, what's going on? Imagine if they were taught about 1900s and Harry finds studying them. Yeah, Harry studies himself while his history's being written. And then also, so in Chamber of Secrets, when the Weasleys go to Gringotts, they have one galleon in their vault at Gringotts. The Weasleys have one galleon to their name. And then in the middle of the school year, Mr. Weasley gets fined 50 galleons for bewitching the Muggle car. And then, so they had one galleon. And then Mr. Weasley gets fined 50 galleons. And then, so they're putting a hell of a tight spot right there. And then that summer, the Weasleys win 700 galleons from the galleon draw, which is basically the lottery. So they win 700 galleons, and they're like, oh my God, for the first time we have money. Like, this is great. We're not poor as all heck. And they spend most of it on a trip, on a month-long vacation. It's like the first time you have money, like, you just spend it all. But a lot of people were saying, like, that's just like how the Weasleys are, and they're... Who's better, Voldemort or Umbridge? What do you mean by better? Like a better person? Umbridge is definitely a better person. My favorite line in Harry Potter, man, that's tough. I gotta come up with the answers for these. I feel like I never have an answer. I feel a good one is, ooh, I like when Harry's being possessed by Voldemort, and he says, "You'll never know friendship or love, and I feel sorry for you." And then he beats him, and then Voldemort can't handle it. I like that a lot. And then another thing I noticed is that Hagrid's kind of like Gilderoy Lockhart, because for Harry's birthday, Hagrid gets him the Monster Book of Monsters book, which is the class, which is the Care of Magical Creatures textbook that Hagrid uses that year. So Gilderoy Lockhart gave his books to Harry as a gift, and Hagrid did the same with his textbook. And then also the Muggle News reports the escape of Sirius Black. And in the Half-Blood Prince, the first scene is Fudge telling the Muggle Prime Minister that Sirius Black escaped. And so that kind of comes back. In Half-Blood Prince, we see Fudge tell the Muggle Prime Minister about the escape of Black, and that's why the Muggles are on the news talking about Sirius Black. Do I ship Harry Potter and Malfoy? They hate each other. What do I think? What do I think about the new Harry Potter series? It's epic. This is what I've been dreaming of my whole entire life, is to have Harry Potter on TV series. And so Aunt Marge got Harry a box of dog biscuits for his birthday, and I was just like, that is such a. She's basically just calling him a freaking dog. Like, she got him dog food for his birthday. That is so, like, with how bad she is, like, that is so disrespectful. Like, getting someone dog food for their birthday, that's absolutely unbelievable. So the TV series hasn't been casted yet. And here's what I'll say. The adult actors in Harry Potter, like, perfectly cast. Like, you can't do better. But like, it's the story that everybody loves, and that's why the TV series won't fail. Harry Potter is such a good story. Like, look at Daniel Radcliffe. He was a great Harry, and I loved him as Harry, but it wasn't Daniel Radcliffe's superb acting that made Harry Potter such a great movie, or such a great movie series. Because Daniel Radcliffe, literally after Harry Potter, like, what has he really done? It's not like he's Daniel Day-Lewis or Leonardo DiCaprio or Tom Hanks. He did great as Harry, but it's not like anyone else can't do that. It's the story of Harry Potter. And that's why I'm not so worried about the casting of it, because we love the story. It's not the actors. The actors didn't make the story of Harry Potter good. The story is good on its own, and that's why I'm not worried about the casting. And then also, so Harry remembers getting chased up a tree by Aunt Marge's dog, Ripper. And then that memory comes back in Alchemancy when Snape is penetrating Harry's mind. And he goes back to that scene of getting chased up the tree by Aunt Marge's dog. Would I rather have the Marauders map or invisibility cloak? I'd rather have the invisibility cloak, because the Marauders map only really helps you while you're at Hogwarts, and the invisibility cloak you can have forever, and it'll help you forever, and it'll help you anywhere. But the Marauders map, while it's very cool, it'll only be able to help you at Hogwarts. So yes, I love J.K. Rowling. She gave me my favorite books in the whole entire world. Oh yeah, so another thing that I noticed is that Mr. Dursley agreed to sign Harry's permission form in the books. I totally forgot about that, because in the movies, Harry never asks. Mr. Dursley never says that he'll sign the permission form, but Harry asks Mr. Dursley, and he says, if everything goes well with Aunt Marge, then I'll sign the permission form. But of course, Harry ends up blowing up Aunt Marge, so the permission form never gets signed. But that's also how manipulative Dumbledore and Professor McGonagall are, because they literally take Harry away from Aunt Petunia and Mr. Dursley against their will. Aunt Petunia and Mr. Dursley don't want him to go, to Hogwarts, and they basically take Harry away from against their will. And now they're saying that Harry can't go to Hogsmeade because Aunt Petunia and Mr. Dursley didn't sign the permission form because they didn't want him to go. It's just like, you let him go to Hogwarts against their permission, but you're not going to let him go to Hogsmeade. It's just like, they're so, I get it's because they think Sirius Black is after him, but that's so manipulative, and it's so, who's more powerful, Charlie or Newt? I'd say Newt. Newt for sure. I didn't know Bonnie Wright was pregnant. I wonder if it's from Daniel Radcliffe's baby. Yeah, Galaxy. Yeah, and I know it's for supervision, but it's just very manipulative. And then, so Harry goes to Diagon Alley when he leaves the Dursleys after the whole Aunt Marge situation. Harry goes on the night bus. It takes him to the Leaky Cauldron, and he spends a week in Diagon Alley. And my question was, why doesn't Harry just do that the whole entire summer? Like, Harry hates being at the Dursleys. He can go to Diagon Alley whenever he wants. He has all the money in the world. He has a huge fortune. Why didn't Harry just spend the whole summer at Diagon Alley? Because I know that Lily's protection doesn't work if he doesn't go to the Dursleys for a little bit. But Harry didn't even know that at that point. Dumbledore doesn't tell him that until Order of the Phoenix. So Harry, there's no reason for him to be at the Dursleys in his head. So why didn't he just go to Diagon Alley for the whole summer? Chloe, shout out. How you doing? I always had a question in the movies. Harry says that he had seen his dad making the Patronus, but actually it was just a deer. So Harry thought it was his dad producing the Patronus, and he couldn't see who was behind the Patronus, but it was a stag, but that ended up being Harry in the Time Turner producing the stag Patronus. And then, so also in the first few chapters of the book, everyone refers to the Dementors as the Azkaban guards. So Stanley Shunpike, the conductor of the night bus, Fudge, Mr. Weasley, Mrs. Weasley, they all called the Dementors Azkaban guards. And I know it's because J.K. wanted to have the big reveal, like, of Lupin when the Dementor attacks Harry on the train. Then Lupin says, "Oh, that was a Dementor." So I know that she wanted to have that big reveal, but it's just like weird reading that back and like being like, what? Like, so like everyone calls them the Azkaban guards, and then they never call them that again. It's just kind of funny to read it like that. Oh, Funsome, thanks for liking the stream. What up, Ravenclaw? How you doing? And then, so when Harry's in Diagon Alley, he goes to whatever books, I forget what the bookstore is called. But the guy who runs the bookstore he's talking about the Monster Book of Monsters, and he's like, God damn, those things have been like awful to deal with. They've been the worst book to deal with since the Invisible Book of Invisibility. We never found them. And I was just like, that sounds like a book that Lockhart would have written. The Invisible Book of Invisibility. You can't see it. You don't know that the book's there. But I feel like Lockhart would definitely be the one to write that book and be like, trust me, it's an amazing book. Like, and they'll just like sell them out, and they don't even exist. I feel like Lockhart would have been the author of that book. Oh, cool, Snowflake. We saw the Hogwarts Express. Maybe we'll get it twice, but Kevin, what's this spinny thing at the top of the screen? Oh, those are like balloons that you can ride your broom through or whatever. Get points. My favorite book is Order of the Phoenix. Oh, so another question. One question that I have: do you think Harry's week alone in Diagon Alley was the best week of his life? So Harry was alone in Diagon Alley for a whole week. There was no trouble. no school stress about doing homework or whatever. It was just him going up and down like in the shops in Diagon Alley, just by himself, totally doing whatever he wants. And I was thinking, the only other time that I think Harry was as happy as he was in that week in Diagon Alley was probably when he was at the Burrow. But it was just like, it was a time in Harry's life where he could be in the wizarding world and there's just no problems. And that rarely happens for him. Piggy, how you doing? What's my wand type? I forget. I got my wand before I started playing Hogwarts Legacy, but I forget exactly what it is. My favorite Harry Potter character is Sirius. I love that yours is George, because most people go for Fred just because he died, but George gets forgotten. He was kind of freaking out about blowing up his aunt. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Eric, that's right. Oh yeah, and then Hermione taking Muggle studies. Like, how is that not cheating? Like, it's like speaking English as your first language, and then taking English 101, like a class that of people that are learning to speak English, and you've spoken English your whole entire life. It's like taking that class. Like, that should, like, how can she not get an A plus? Because Mr. Weasley, who is like the Muggle professional as a wizard, doesn't even know what a rubber duck is or what electricity is. So they talk about the most basic stuff in the world in that Muggle studies class. Like, Hermione should not be allowed to take that class and just get an easy A to boost her GPA. My Patronus, I think it's a white mare, I think it said. Oh yeah, so also, would I do well on my OWLs if I studied hard? I'd have to. When I was in school, I was never the one who was able to naturally just do well in school. I really had to go in the library and put in a lot of hours to do well. But if I did that, then I feel like I'd do pretty decently on my OWLs. A donate or a new member? I'll do either because you love. Oh, fun Sam, I'm glad you enjoyed the channel. Yeah, you can donate if you can donate if you want. That'd be awesome. Donate, become a member, whatever you want. I'm glad you enjoyed the channel, though. Thank you very much. It's very nice of you. So also, when Harry meets Ron and Hermione in Diagon Alley, they go to the Magical Menagerie, which is basically a magical creatures shop where they have all these animals. And like, it's basically like the doctor's office for animals. And so Ron, they go to the Magical Menagerie because Scabbers is looking ill. And so Ron gives Scabbers to the person who works there, like basically the magical creature's doctor. And so she takes Scabbers in her hand and closely examines Scabbers. And it's just like, how does someone who is a magical creatures professional not recognize that Scabbers is not a real rat and that he's an animagus? Like, Harry, Ron, and Hermione figure out what an animagus is, and they know how to recognize one by their markings or whatever. Like, how does someone who their profession is magical creatures not recognize that Scabbers is not a real rat when she's holding him like up to her eyes and examining him very closely? Maybe she was helping Wormtail, but she didn't know who Wormtail was. How do you like the stream? I hope you're liking the stream. Make sure to toss a like if you enjoy the stream. Oh, dang, we have 39 likes? That's a lot. Wonder if we can get to 50. Who do you think would be better, Secret Keeper, Dumbledore, or Sirius? I think Sirius would, because Sirius would die rather than betray you. But they'd both be good. Just because no one's going to mess with Dumbledore, but Sirius is the most loyal person. But then again, Sirius might not be the best Secret Keeper because it was his idea to switch the Secret Keeper to Wormtail. So that kind of means that Sirius is a bad Secret Keeper because he's the one that was like, hey, we should have Wormtail be the Secret Keeper. So Dumbledore is the best Secret Keeper. Scabbers being like 11 should have been a clue. Yeah. Dumbledore, good or evil? He's in between. Kevin Crookshanks or Hedwig? Ooh. Hedwig. I think Hedwig. Even though Crookshanks put in work in Prisoner of Azkaban. She was awesome. Who's better, Umbridge or Percy? Percy. Umbridge is pure evil. Who's better, Harry or Dumbledore? Who do I like better as a character? Dumbledore. Dumbledore is way more interesting. Kevin, what's your favorite shop in Diagon Alley? Ollivander's. I just love the wand. I love wand law and wand lore, and I'd love to get like a deeper history of like wands and. Gayathri, how you doing? I'm probably mispronouncing that, but. So another question I had was, who was the prefect in Fred and George's class? Who was the Gryffindor prefect in Fred and George's class? Because we hear about Fred and George and then their friend Lee Jordan, but we don't hear about the other two Gryffindor boys in there. I don't know if Angelina was in their class. She would probably be a prefect, but we don't hear about the other two boys in their class that would be a prefect. Harry Potter fangirl, my favorite character is Sirius. Hey Maria, how you doing? Oh yeah, and so Fudge says that the reason that that the Ministry thinks that Sirius Black is after Harry. So the one reason that the Ministry thinks that Sirius Black is wants to go and kill Harry is because when Fudge went to visit Azkaban, Sirius was repeating in his sleep. He was saying, "He's at Hogwarts. He's at Hogwarts." So Sirius was saying that in his sleep, and Fudge is just like, "Oh, that must mean Harry." It's just like that could be anyone. That could literally Sirius could be talking about anyone. Like why when he said like Sirius is only saying he's at Hogwarts, and so the Ministry's like, oh, we need to get a protection guard on Harry. He can't do anything. Like he didn't say Harry's at Hogwarts. Why would you automatically assume if Sirius was going after Harry because he's at Hogwarts? Harry had been there for 2 years already. So why was Sirius just saying he's at Hogwarts? Like Harry, he would have known that Harry's been at Hogwarts for 2 years already. So it's just like that was a very loose connection that the Ministry made to be like, oh wait, Sirius keeps saying he's at Hogwarts. That could only mean Harry Potter, right? That was a very loose connection that I didn't get. My house, I'm in Hufflepuff. Are there any other Hufflepuffs here? Oh yeah, so one difference between the books and the movies was that in the books, Harry volunteers to pet Buckbeak and to go and bow to Buckbeak, but in the movies, when Hagrid asks, everyone backs away except for Harry, and then Ron pushes Harry forward to go pet Buckbeak or whatever. But in the books, Harry volunteers. Were the Dementors capable of speaking? No. That is a good question. How were the Dementors able to communicate with wizards? Because Fudge would go and talk to them all the time and like say that because Fudge said at one point that the Dementors were furious with Dumbledore because they wouldn't let him on the ground. Because Dumbledore wouldn't let the Dementors on the ground. So I don't think they'd be able to talk. And what a weird conversation that would be. Like, oh gosh, would not want to talk to the Dementor. Oh, you're Mr. Malfoy, Slytherin, Maria, Ravenclaw or Gryffindor for Harry Potter. Oh, Chloe, you're Ravenclaw. Eva, Slytherin. Hufflepuff Pride. From George Weasley, Hufflepuff. Miss Traveler. Oh, Marina, you're Hufflepuff. I love it. Autumn, Hufflepuff. There we go. Who's winning the House Cup? Well, right now, Ravenclaw's won the House Cup every month so far. Yeah, Eric, I would assume that it is an unidentified prefect because they don't talk about anyone else in Fred and George's class except for Lee Jordan in terms of the guys. Do I think Crookshanks was the Potter's cat? No, I don't think so. Otherwise, he would have been. Otherwise, you would think that he would be way more attached to Harry. Like it would have been, or she would be more attached to Harry. You know, if she was the Potter's cat, then you'd think that that Crookshanks would like be all over Harry. My favorite Harry Potter movies: Prisoner of Azkaban. My favorite book is Order of the Phoenix. Oh yeah, so also I'm going to use this as an upcoming trivia question and one of the House Cups. So you guys have an inside scoop to one of the upcoming trivia questions. So the first spell that Harry's class learns from a Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher is in Prisoner of Azkaban, which is awful because it's Defense Against the Dark Arts. And the first spell that their class learns from one of their Defense Against the Dark Arts teachers is in year 3 of their schooling. And it's Wadi-Wasi by Professor Lupin, when Peeves is like sticking gum in the lock of a door. And Lupin tells him to stop, and Peeves doesn't stop. So Lupin does Wadi-Wasi, and it shoves the gum up Peeves' nose. And that's the first spell that Harry and his class learn in Defense Against the Dark Arts, and it's in year 3. Like, what kind of an education are they getting? Oh, Mario, what's going on? Oh, you like Percy? Such a complex and sympathetic character. Yeah. He had a big comeback story in Deathly Hallows. He was a prick for a bit, though. Oh yeah, and so in the books as well, Lupin explains that the Boggart moved into Hogwarts a couple days previously, and Lupin told Dumbledore he was like, hey, could we keep the Boggart in here instead of banishing it or whatever, so I can use it for class. And I was just thinking, isn't Hogwarts supposed to be under like high security right now with Sirius Black? Like, isn't Hogwarts supposed to be in like such high security? Yet a Boggart, like a dark magical creature, like a Boggart, just breaks through the security. Shouldn't that have been like a warning sign to like Dumbledore and everyone that like on day 2 a dark magical creature's breaking in? Let's heighten this security a little bit. We'll be on vacation on Tuesday, so I won't get to join in on Trivia or Book Club next couple weeks. Eric, you're going on a lot of vacations recently. Just got back from Hawaii. I'm jealous. Oh, Chloe, you saw that video? Yeah. Heck yeah. Oh, so also Lupin gave Harry points in the Boggart class. Lupin gave Harry points even though Harry didn't defeat the Boggart. And I was thinking that's kind of like how Snape favors Malfoy in Potions class. When Malfoy doesn't do anything, Snape will give Malfoy points. And he'll take away points from Ron and Harry for nothing. And so Lupin giving Harry points even though he didn't defeat the Boggart is kind of like how Snape is biased towards Malfoy, which I thought was interesting. And what would Hermione's Boggart be, do you think? I think Ron asked that question in the book, but I was wondering that. I don't know what. My favorite Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher? I mean, I'm not going to lie. I like the imposter Moody. He's interesting. I like his classes the best. Also, Lupin said no one knew a Boggart true form until they were alone, but Moody could identify a Boggart using his magical eye. Yeah, that's very true. That was it. That was an interesting part of Order of the Phoenix. Oh, Hawaii's Tuesday? Nice. I was already... Oh, Francesca, what's going on? Hogwarts Legacy stream? I don't know. I'm going on a trip for a friend's wedding next week, so I won't be streaming next week, but... Failing as a student witch. Oh yeah, definitely. That would yeah. I forgot I asked that question. Sorry. Yeah, Hermione failing as a student or a witch. Yeah, for sure. Hermione's Boggart was mentioned. I don't think it was mentioned. Oh yeah. Oh, so it was. Yes, it was mentioned. in that moment, because they were going through finals, and so Hermione's Boggart was like, I forget which professor, if it was Flitwick or whatever, telling her that she failed all her finals. But I think that was just in that moment. Because Boggarts change depending on what you're scared of at that time. Oh, and another thing that I noticed is that so Lavender Brown's rabbit dies, and Lavender says that that Professor Trelawney predicted the death because in divination class, Professor Trelawney says to Lavender Brown, like, whatever you're dreading will soon come to pass. And then Lavender Brown's rabbit dies, and Lavender Brown's like, oh, Professor Trelawney, she predicted it. She predicted it. And then Hermione's like, no, that's BS. Like, that's not, like, you weren't dreading your rabbit dying. Like, that's BS, Lavender. But then Ron defends Lavender by saying, don't mind Hermione, Lavender. And so Ron defends Lavender, being like, hey, don't mind Hermione. Like, she's just being, like, weird and stuff like that. And I was wondering if that was like a little precursor to, like, is that when Lavender started liking Ron? Because Ron defended Lavender against Hermione. And I was wondering if that was like the beginning, the seeds of Lavender starting to like Ron. What do you guys think about that? Do you guys think that could be a thing? A lot of ships going around. Harry or Hermione? I think Hermione. Hermione's a genius. Let's see. Oh, yeah. And so here's another trivia question that I'm going to use, is that Lupin is the first person to use Voldemort's name besides Dumbledore. And I was wondering what... So Harry was surprised to hear Lupin say Voldemort's name. He was like, oh, you're the first person besides Dumbledore that I've heard use Voldemort's name. And I was wondering why Lupin would have said Voldemort, why he wasn't scared to say Voldemort. I can get why he wasn't, because he was in the Order of the Phoenix and he fought Voldemort, but so did Professor McGonagall, and so did Hagrid. There was a lot of people who were... Hagrid and Professor McGonagall both don't say... They're too scared to say Voldemort's name, but Lupin's not. Lupin says Voldemort's name, and I was wondering why do you guys think Lupin wasn't scared to use Voldemort's name? Oh, Chloe, this is your first time watching the stream. I hope you enjoy it. Oh, yeah, I wonder why Lupin wasn't scared. Remus got the real concept, is what I think. What do you mean by that? What was the real concept? Oh, 50 likes. Yeah, if you guys are enjoying the stream, 50 likes. There they go. That's a big achievement. Thank you guys. I'm glad you guys are liking it. Glad you guys are enjoying. What's my Patronus? A white mare. Dumbledore's perspective. Brown or Chang? Like Lavender Brown? I'd say Cho Chang, because Cho Chang, at least she's good at Quidditch. I feel like that's a redeeming quality. Like, I'm a sports fan, so. And then, so people who don't read the books don't know how evil of a character Snape is, because the movies don't show a lot of his bad side. But in Prisoner of Azkaban, Snape takes points away from Hermione because she helps Neville in class. So Hermione helps Neville with his potion. And because Hermione did that, because Hermione was being a good friend, Snape takes points away because Neville's potion worked. And then Ron defends Hermione in that scene. I think this was another potions class. But Ron defends Hermione when Snape calls Hermione an insufferable know-it-all, and Ron basically defends Hermione because Snape totally insulted her, and Snape takes points away from Ron for defending Hermione. It's just like, Snape, you're such an evil little bastard. Like, you're bullying these little 13-year-olds for no reason. He's a werewolf. Guess they're not afraid of saying the name. Yeah, that could be true, Eric. That's a good call. Can you go to the end of the chapter of the Leaky Cauldron? I find it quite funny. I don't know why. Why? What does it say? What part of it do you like? Fear the name, only increases fear of the thing itself. Remus followed it. Yeah, Galaxy. Hell yeah. What do you need help working out on him? Lupin was intelligent? Yeah, he was for sure. It's a real shame the movie changed Ron's line. Yeah, the movie really did change that scene for Ron. Eric, he did tell her not to help, so... Yeah, but he did tell her not to help, but he was going to feed whatever was in Neville's potion to Trevor. Like, he was going to poison Trevor. So Snape was definitely evil for that. So whatever Neville was doing with his potion, Snape was going to force feed that to Neville's toad. So that, just like, what the heck, man? Like, come on. Have you read Percy Jackson? So I haven't read Percy Jackson, but when so I don't know anything about it, but when the TV show comes out, I kind of want to do like live stream watch-alongs with all you guys. And so we can watch it together. I don't know if you guys know it, but I don't know it. And so I thought it would be fun to make videos about me reacting to the shows, because people do like reaction videos to movies they haven't seen before. And I thought it'd be fun if I did a reaction series to Percy Jackson. I don't know if you guys would like that, but I don't know why people love Snape. He was horrible towards his students. Do you know that Rowling actually hated that many fans like Draco? Yeah, she did. She did hate that fans like Draco. I wouldn't say hate, but she was like, she didn't understand it. But it was just because Tom Felton was handsome, yeah. My favorite professor? Favorite professor, man. That's a tough one. Favorite professor. I mean, Trelawney's interesting just because, like, everything she says, she makes all these predictions that while you're reading it, you like are just like, she's just talking so much BS. But literally everything she says is something that comes true later in the story. So it's always interesting to hear what she has to say because it does eventually come back in the story. Been so long since I read Percy Jackson. I just hope this series is better than the movies. It will be better than the movies. The movies are awful. So I don't know anything about Percy Jackson. So I think it would be fun for me to do videos of me watching it for the first time. You can read the Percy Jackson books, then give a review after every book. So I think I'd rather watch the shows because I think that would take less time. I feel like with all my focus on Harry Potter, I feel like I don't have time to read other books. By the way, in the first book, the person who's the worst bully, James or Snape? Snape, because he bullied kids. James was just bullying a fellow student. Snape was bullying little kids. Who's my favorite out of the trio? Probably Harry. Mario, I think it's the numbers game with Trelawney. She makes so many predictions that some of them are bound to be right. But she's like spot on. Like in literally every single prediction that she makes actually does come true. Like J.K. Rowling wasn't just BSing with what Trelawney was saying. Oh yeah, so also when the Dementors come to the Quidditch match and attack Harry and Harry falls off his broom, Sirius is at that game. Sirius is in the stands watching Harry play in that Quidditch game, and the Dementors come and they attack Harry, and there's hundreds of them. Not one. The person who they're after is Sirius Black, and he's literally at the game in the stands, but all the Dementors go for Harry. It's like, how awful are you guys at your jobs? Sirius Black is at that game, and they attack Harry. How bad are the Dementors out there? I was like, what are you guys doing? There you go. There's a little movement on the track. They couldn't sense Sirius Black because he was in his animal form. So Dementors, yeah. So Sirius did say something about that, but I feel like Dementors would be able to like. I feel like they'd be able to sense him because I know he said he slipped past them because it's like different acute feelings as a dog, but I don't know. I just feel like, yeah. I feel like Dementors should be able to for some reason. And so why didn't Lupin ever tell Harry that he was close with Lily and James? Because in the movies, Lupin kind of says it, like when Harry and Lupin are talking on the bridge. Lupin's like, "Oh yes, I knew your mother. Oh, I knew her. She helped me in a time when no one else would." But the books, Lupin never says that he knew Lily and James. And so, like when Harry says that when the Dementors attack him, he knows what he's hearing now. He's like, "Oh, I'm hearing my mom being killed by Voldemort." And Lupin like grips like the seat really hard because he obviously is like, "Oh, Lily being killed." But why didn't Lupin ever be like, "Hey, like like imagine you had two best friends who got killed and their kid survived, and like you would go up to that kid and be like, "Hey, like I was best friends with your parents, like I knew them really well," and like you talk about them a lot. Like Lupin, I don't know why he didn't ever say anything, because if I had two best friends who had a kid or whatever, I'd be like, "Yeah, I was best friends with their parents, like, and tell them all the great things about them." Why do I like Order of the Phoenix? I just, there's a lot to it. There's a lot to it. Dumbledore's army, or the Order of the Phoenix, time at Grimmauld Place. Umbridge is a great villain character. I love the occlumency scenes, and then when Harry goes into the pensive and sees the scene with the Marauders, and then the Ministry, and then the Department of Mysteries battle at the end is awesome, and then the duel between Dumbledore and Voldemort's awesome. I think there's a lot in Order of the Phoenix. I love it. I'm salty because they robbed Tonks in movie 6. Yeah, Tonks wasn't in. Yeah, Tonks had a lot of scenes in the book, but she wasn't in the movies at all. That's my least favorite book. Oh, that's tough. I would normally say Chamber of Secrets, but we just finished Chamber of Secrets and I actually liked it. My least favorite book. Got it. It might. I mean, I don't dislike any of them, but if I had to say a book wasn't my favorite, it'd probably be Chamber of Secrets. But Chamber of Secrets is still really good. Harry Potter. So Philosopher's Stone. When I was rereading Philosopher's Stone, I hadn't read in a while, and Philosopher's Stone is so good. Like there's no fat in that book. Every page is just so well written, and it really brings you into the wizarding world in such an amazing way. I love Philosopher's Stone. And so another thing that I felt was interesting is that Lupin says that Dementors drain a wizard of their powers. So Lupin says that Dementors drain a wizard of their powers if they're left long enough with them. But that never happens to any of the Death Eaters who were in Azkaban for over a decade. So Lupin says that if you're left long enough with Dementors, they drain your powers. But all the Death Eaters came back totally normal after being in Azkaban for over 10 years. So I don't think they do drain their powers. I'll be right back, by the way. I have to use the restroom. I'll be right back. I'll be back in 2 seconds. Yo, 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 yo. Yo. Yo, we talking about Prisoner of Azkaban. All right. Oh, thanks, George. Thanks for welcoming me back. Hey, Kevin, your opinion, who's the worst bully? Snape, because he bullied kids, for sure. Kevin, I had the cutest Tonks and Lupin edit idea for my YouTube channel. Oh, that's awesome. Hell yeah. That's cool that you're good at edit videos like that, because I'm not great at editing videos. I'm pretty awful, actually. What's my favorite book? Or the Phoenix? Yeah, what's everyone's favorite book? Let me know in the chat. I want to see what everyone's favorite book is. Thanks, Mario. Thanks for welcoming me back. Goblet of Fire. Yeah, Goblet of Fire is such a dope book. Yeah, we're getting into the meat and potatoes of the series right now with our book club. I love that we got Prisoner of Azkaban, Goblet of Fire, Order of the Phoenix, Half-Blood Prince, Deathly Hallows. Every week we're going to be reading 5 chapters and talking about it. Like, I love it. I love it. I hope you guys enjoy this as much as I do, because I love reading the books and just talking about it with everyone. This one, Prisoner of Azkaban, Eric. Yeah. Goblet of Fire. Katie, Prisoner of Azkaban. Prisoner of Azkaban, Chloe. Order of the Phoenix, yeah. Dre, Order of the Phoenix, same here. Lewingark, Prisoner of Azkaban. Oh, you love all the books the same, Eva. Nice. What up, Cormac? Is that Cormac McLagan? That rat bastard. How you doing, Cormac? Cormac McLagan. Jeez, can't wait to get to his part of the story. Oh. And then also, so when Harry asked Lupin, when Harry asked Lupin to help him fight the Dementors, Lupin says, like, oh, like, I don't know, like, I'm not an expert at fighting Dementors. Like, I don't know if I can teach you. I'm not an expert at fighting Dementors. And I'm like, yo, Lupin, all you have to tell Harry is to think of a happy memory and say expecto patronum. Like, just because you're not an expert at fighting them doesn't mean you can't teach them. And that's also like what I was wondering. Why weren't all the students taught how to defend themselves against Dementors? Like, Dementors were just attacking students left and right. If they weren't able to produce a Patronus, whatever, but at least teach them how to. Like, be like, all right, everyone, this is how you do it. You think of the happiest memory of your life, let it fill you up, and say expecto patronum. If you can't do it, then whatever, but at least try to teach them how to deal with them. My favorite funny scene in Harry Potter? Oh, I don't know what my favorite funny scene would be. It's hard. It's always hard for me to think of my favorite funny scene, or the saddest scene, or the most romantic scene, because whenever it's hard, so much comes to mind. Yeah, Mario, that's what I was thinking. Like, because all the students deal with the Dementors, they're at the entrance of the grounds. So, like, whenever they go to Hogsmeade, they're going past the Dementors, and they're attacking students, and none of them are taught how to do a Patronus. If they're not able to do it, then whatever. But some students would be able to do it, and they'd be able to defend other students. So why aren't they taught how? Just be like, hey, this is how you do it. Think of a happy memory and say expecto patronum. It's not. Like, how are they not taught to do that? Oh, yeah, just because you've got the emotional range of a teaspoon, Hermione. And that's a great moment, just because I feel like in Order of the Phoenix, it's very heavy, it's very dark, and that's a very, like, light moment where the Golden Trio are just laughing by the fire in the Gryffindor common room, which there's so many moments like that in the books that aren't in the movies, but we're going to get in the TV series because there's going to be a lot more time. Okay, then my notes, got more notes on my phone right here. Oh yeah, so something else that I found interesting, when Fudge is talking about how Sirius and Pettigrew faced each other, and Pettigrew blew himself up or whatever. So, so this is when Fudge and McGonagall and Hagrid still think that Sirius is the guilty party. So they're talking about Sirius and Pettigrew's duel. And so Fudge is like, obviously Sirius was faster, so he blew the street up. But Sirius isn't faster than Pettigrew, because Pettigrew is the one who blew the street up. So, and Sirius is trying to stop Pettigrew. So they were both, Sirius is trying to stop Pettigrew, and Pettigrew is trying to blow up the street. But Pettigrew was faster than Sirius. So low-key, Pettigrew is a better duelist than Sirius. Like, Wormtail is super underrated. Like, he was very smart to think of like I'm going to get away with this kind of a thing. But then he was also a better duelist than Sirius, because he did the spell faster than Sirius. You woke up at 5:30? Dang, Autumn. Sorry about that. You couldn't go back to sleep? Have a biscuit, Potter. Yeah, that's a good one, Eva. Lou and Gark, my favorite funny scene is Half-Blood Prince when they're hospital wing. Yeah, and all the professors are, the team, the love triangle. That is a good one. Once again, a nice little lighthearted moment. My favorite scene in Goblet of Fire, the movie or the book? Because the movie would probably be... My favorite scene in the movie would be the Quidditch World Cup. Ha ha. No, they totally skipped it. BS. Favorite scene in Goblet of Fire movie. I really like I like the ballroom ballroom dancing practice when Ron is dancing with Professor McGonagall and Fred and George are laughing at him. I think that's a funny scene. I like that. Also, why didn't we ever see Wormtail's name on the map? Yeah, so in the movies, Harry sees it and he tells Lupin, he's like, Peter Pettigrew was on the map. But Lupin never did anything about it. And so also, I think right when Harry gets the map is around the time that Pettigrew like escapes and goes off on the Hogwarts grounds. So I don't know. It is confusing, Eric. I couldn't go back to sleep. Yeah, that happens to me sometimes. I wake up and can't go back to sleep, especially because when I go on my phone, then I really can't go back to sleep. Are you quite sure you don't? Oh yeah, you don't need to. Yeah, quite sure you don't need a cough drop, Dolores. That's a good one, Chloe. Autumn, what's the worst thing about Umbridge? And why didn't Fred and George question why? Yeah. No, I know. Yeah, that is definitely a plot hole superhero star for sure. That is definitely a plot hole. Oh, another thing. Oh, before I get... So, one thing that I found super interesting is that when Fudge, McGonagall, Hagrid are in the Three Broomsticks talking about the whole situation with Pettigrew and Sirius and how Sirius and James were best friends, that whole conversation, at the end, Madame Rosmerta asks Fudge, she was like, so do you think Sirius's like main goal is to get back to Voldemort and to get Voldemort back to power? And Fudge says that he thinks that that's Sirius's end game goal. So he says right now he wants to kill Harry, but Fudge says that he thinks Sirius's long-term goal is to find Voldemort and bring him back to power. And I thought that was super interesting because in Goblet of Fire, Fudge all of a sudden refuses to believe that Voldemort is back. And he's like, how can he be back? Voldemort's dead. Like, there's no way he can be back. He's dead. Like, he can't come back to life. But in Prisoner of Azkaban, Fudge is saying that he thinks that Sirius is going to go get Voldemort and bring him back. So I was just like, wait, what happened in that year that you think that that Voldemort can return and Sirius can go bring him back, but then in Goblet of Fire you think that Voldemort's dead and there's no way he can come back? I thought that was pretty interesting. I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on that, or no. I'm going to talk about how powerful Peter is. Yeah. Yeah, Peter Pettigrew's very underrated. Everyone thinks he's like he's almost like a really brilliant bullshit artist because everyone thinks he's so weak and powerless and everything, but he's dope. Got paid off. But Fudge was, I mean, he was the Minister of Magic. Like, I don't know. I just thought that was interesting. Like, he says that Sirius is going to go after Voldemort and resurrect Voldemort, but then Goblet of Fire, he refuses to believe that Voldemort can come back. Yeah, Galaxy, you hate Fudge. I would love if Dolores Dementor were a ship. I can't wait. Oh, that's hilarious. Chloe, that's actually hilarious. You can't wait for Dolores and Dementors to be a ship. You can't, because you can't, that's actually a very funny joke. And you can't wait for them to kiss. Oh, that's a good joke. I might use that for a video. That's hilarious. Very well played there, Chloe. Eva, what is the worst made moment from the films? For me, it's did you put your name in the Goblet of Fire? The worst moment. For me, it's always about moments that are left out, but let me think about that. I just think that the whole Half-Blood Prince, the movie, it focuses so much on the romance with with Lavender. Like Lavender has more screen time than Tom Riddle in the Half-Blood Prince, and that just should not be a thing. Like the whole point of Half-Blood Prince was learning about Tom Riddle and his Horcruxes and learning about him to see where the Horcruxes might be. But Lavender Brown gets more screen time, and she's so annoying. Mario, why would they even think that Voldemort could have been brought back? Everyone knows dead, and magic can't bring back the dead. They didn't know about the Horcruxes. Yeah, I know. That is interesting. Everyone was like, "Oh, Voldemort's lying low somewhere." Like Voldemort's lying low somewhere. It's just like, but if you think he got killed, why do you think he's lying low somewhere? So yeah, that is confusing. Kevin, what's my favorite ship? It's hard to go against Tonks and Lupin. Love Tonks. Oh yeah, and so also something else that I noticed is that aurors aren't a thing in Prisoner of Azkaban. So J.K. Rowling created aurors in Goblet of Fire, and in Prisoner of Azkaban, Fudge calls them Ministry hit wizards. So he tells Hagrid that only Ministry hit wizards could take out Sirius. So aurors aren't a thing yet in Prisoner of Azkaban. And that's pretty much. Oh yeah, no, I had one more thing. So Fred and George gave Harry the Marauders map, and they say they're giving it to Harry because they don't need it anymore. And it's like, what do you mean you don't need the Marauders map? The value of the Marauders map isn't knowing where the astronomy tower is or knowing where the secret passages are. The value of the Marauders map is knowing where everyone is at every single moment in the castle. So the value of it is ever present. It's not like you can read the Marauders map a million times and be like, oh, I'll never need this anymore. The value of it is when you're turning a corridor and you're like, seeing, oh, like, oh, they're up there, can't go there. So you would always need the Marauders map. It's not like they didn't need it anymore. All right, everyone. Well, that's everything that I had for chapters 1 through 10 of Prisoner of Azkaban. If you haven't, make sure to like the stream if you enjoyed it. Yeah, I do like the fact that the twins gave him the map for sure, but I didn't understand why they were like, oh, we don't need it anymore. It's like, that's the value of the map is knowing what's going on in the moment. Oh, I dropped the I dropped the crown. Thank you, Chloe. You're very kind. You're very kind. I like how Sirius is first mentioned Philosopher's Stone. Yep. Here's a trivia question for you, Kevin. What color were the letters in the Marauders map? Were they not black? Oh, thanks, Autumn. You guys are too kind. You guys are too kind. Yeah, but so they memorized like the secret passages and stuff, but that's not the value of the Martyrs map. The value of the Martyrs map is knowing like, oh, like you can see who's in each corridor, where everyone is in the, and that's, you can't memorize that. What house am I in? Hufflepuff. Now, Roa, what's going on? You're new to the channel. Have I been missing something? Sorry, my English isn't that good. Oh, your English is perfect. Yeah, so this is just our book club that we do every week. So every week we read 5 chapters of Harry Potter. So you read that on your own throughout the week. And then on either Saturday or Sunday, we have a live stream discussion on those chapters. So for this week, it was chapters 1 through 10 of Prisoner of Azkaban. And next week, it's probably going to be chapters 11 through 15 of Prisoner of Azkaban. So you read, we all read a certain amount of Harry Potter on our own throughout the week. And then on Saturday and Sunday, we all come together for a live stream discussion about the books. Swara, I'm glad you enjoy my channel. Thank you very much. That means a lot. Ruby and Tram are having a cute moment. Yeah, I've been seeing this little romance flourish between you two. You guys should meet up in real life. Yeah, so this week is going to be chapters 11 through 15. But I'm going on a trip for my friend's wedding. I'm going to be gone from Wednesday to Sunday. So I think we might have to double up 11 through 15 and then maybe 15 through 19 and do it 2 weeks from now. I'll figure that out because I don't know if I'm going to be able to live stream. I won't be able to live stream at all next weekend. Yeah, friend George should have given it to Ron. All right, everyone. Well, that's everything that I had. Thank you very much for enjoying the stream. The next book club will be on chapters 11 through 15, and that live stream will either be next Tuesday or if not, then the next weekend after that, because I'll be gone on a trip. But read chapters 11 through 15, Prisoner of Azkaban. Hope you guys have been enjoying these book clubs, enjoying these streams. Thank you very much for joining. It means a lot. I hope you guys all have a great rest of your weekend. Bye, Superhero Star, Eva, Y-Tram, Kahija, Mr. Ruby Malfoy, Dalila, Autumn, Swara, Chloe, Nell Mains, Jess. Oh, you're from England? Well, congrats on the coronation of Charles. Galaxy of Facts, thanks for joining. Chloe, I'm glad you enjoyed your first book club. So, peace out, Eric. Enjoy Hawaii. Aloha. Bye, the streams are nice. Have a nice weekend. I'm glad you enjoy them, Eva. Autumn. Katie. Bye, Katie. Dalila, I'm glad you enjoy the channel. Chorus Ruby. All right, everybody. And that's me logging off. That's me logging off. Oh, thanks, Dre. I will have a great time at the wedding. Thank you. Have a smashing day. You too, White Tram. Oh, Eva, you're from the Czech Republic? I love it. Chloe. Your grandpa was there. Awesome. Lewingark, bye. All right, Autumn, I'll definitely check it out. Chloe, you're in England? The coronation, baby. All right, everyone. See you later. I hope you enjoy.